We are the Nerd Eternal Network.
Hello, and welcome to Powers on Payroll here on the Nerd Eternal Network. I'll be your GM today, Jason, and with me as usual will be Marigold as the Boogeyman,
Thank you for joining us.
Curtis as the Influencer,
Hola.
Mike as Whippet,
Happy Sunday, everyone.
and Taylor as Skater Boy.
Howdy, howdy.
Now, who remembers where we left off last time?
We just busted up a Sears department store.
Oh yeah, we rescued a pair of saints who had been kidnapped by the other Majestics, and we broke into this abandoned they were buying. Saved Sword Saints and the other Majestics. So they did manage to escape.
Alright, you were cutting in and out there a little bit, but I think you got the gist of it. So Earth Mother was attacked, but by the time y'all scrambled out to help her, it was already resolved. Like Marigold said, the Majestics came to her aid, and they made off with a couple of Sword Saints. The Sword Saints left behind that you questioned were actively asking you to go save their brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And showed you how to track them, using one of their helmets. And yeah, they were holed up in a old shut down Sears building. Y'all shellacked two of the Majestics pretty quick. They did not put up a whole lot of fight. Though your ally Majestic 7 did get shot because she had forgotten to turn on the gadget Boogeyman had made for her.
Mm.
It was absolutely her forgetting and not the GM forgetting that was a thing.
Exactly.
But yes, you had recovered them. I'm not sure if y'all found out exactly why Professor Prometheus would have sent the Majestics out to help. I think there was some theorizing on the fact that he wants to uplift humanity. Make all humanity super beings, basically. And the Pantheon's goal is to harness the power of the gods to uplift humanity.
Mm-hmm.
So either this was his way of swapping notes involuntarily, or maybe he don't want the competition. Who knows? But anyway, you rescue the guys. You turn them over to Spear. Spear confiscates some of the machinery and equipment that the Majestics had been setting up in the Sears. It tended to be things like fabricators, real high-end 3D printers type stuff. Didn't look like they could have constructed entirely new suits of armor or robots or anything, but it looks like they were setting up a repair station for themselves. Leading one agent to believe that's probably a sign that they had ducked out of the city for a while and now they're trying to set up shop again. Let's see. So y'all gotten back home. You'd have had a debriefing with Offerman. Again, very pleased with your performance. He's been talking to the bigwigs about trying to make see about getting Miss Manhattan or Majestic 7 as official members, if they're interested. The legal department is going through exactly what the repercussions are of hiring, a sentient AI effectively. I mean, seven is a copy of a person, but
Mhm.
it's all being run on silicone. So, and Miss Majestic being a clone. Though she has done the
If we
paperwork
have
with
the
Spear.
opportunity,
Go ahead.
oh sorry, if we have the opportunity, I know Webet would push for Earth Mother and Tomcat as well, assuming that they're interested. I know Earth Mother's kind of keeping us at arm's distance, but
Yeah, she's got it where she doesn't seem to mind you guys specifically, but she does not seem to trust governments or corporations. But yeah, Offerman tells you he's broached the subject on the Karens at least, and there's been some pushback, mostly budget concerns. He goes, I'll keep working on it though. In the meantime, we have free reign to let them stay here in the base and stuff. After the meeting, Curtis,
Yes, sir.
Offerman would like to speak with the influencer.
Well, the influencer is always happy to speak with Offerman.
And, he doesn't tell you that at the meeting. He sends you a little text as everybody's leaving.
All right, I'll go see what he wants.
Again, I just wanted to, tell you what a good job I think you're doing. Let you know, I appreciate it. And the company appreciates some of the higher ups I've been talking to. I've made sure they've known about your exemplary work. Since sometimes, with your powers, sometimes what you do in the field isn't always the flashiest or most noticeable something.
Well, I appreciate that.
But also, they wanted me to give you this. And he holds out something. It looks like a slightly oversized flash drive. And he shows you it's got a few different attachments, so it can plug into a bunch of different type of computers. This is some sort of auto hacking device.
Is this?
He goes, it's some kind of auto hacking device. If you plug it into a computer, and it immediately starts trying to get into the computer system and make copies, copy the information. We thought it might be useful, like if Prometheus is setting up another base and you run into there, maybe we could find out what he's planning. Obviously, any knowledge we get on his tech is knowledge, is information we could use to try to find weaknesses, in the Majestic armor or, anything else he's cooked up. If you wind up finding, a pair of Pantheon base, he goes, again, we might be able to find out what they're up to, what have you. Should work on any computer system, so, if anything weird comes up, even if it's just that zoo gang or whatever they're calling themselves today, feel free to use it in any instance where you think it'd be useful.
You bet.
And like I said, it's a little bit bigger than an average flash drive, but it's not too big. You can easily pocket it in your uniform. So yeah, just plug it in, leave it in as long as you can. It should do all the work, and then you can just bring it back to base, and we can plug it in any of the systems here and examine it.
That is a great plan. I will tuck it away.
Okay. Excellent. And then, tells you to go relax the rest of the evening. The next couple of days pass uneventfully in Detroit. Things are going down other places, though. A company called Next Generation Genetics. Write that down so I don't get it.
That's a rough name to buck.
What's wrong with NGG?
I suppose nothing.
But they have lost a building.
Now, what definition of lost?
It no longer exists.
Oh my.
Eyewitnesses identified the mutant defense militia showing up, along with a man in white. There was fighting inside the building, and then there was a flash and a ripple, and starting at the top of the building and working its way down, the building just seemed to disappear. Though at lower levels where people were, there was like a burst of pressurized air. You know, they described it as as the building disappeared, there was this big gust of wind, enough to like knock people over, throw trash around, break a few windows. You know,
The whole building's gone.
down to the ground floor. Eyewitnesses then, talk about a lot of people climbing out, people not looking in good shape in some cases, climbing up out of the what would have been the basement, sub-basements of the building.
What city was this in?
Now this was over in Chicago. And there's some cell phone camera footage of this. Some of the people climbing out had obvious physical mutations. All but one of them were taken away with by the militia. The one who wasn't was not taken into custody like he was arrested, but like, the authorities showed up and took him off to talk to him. He has been identified. His name doesn't matter. It ain't going to matter. But he's been identified as a missing delivery person. He'd been missing for a couple of days at this point. According to him, he was making a delivery to the place. Stumbled across a person with a visible mutation trying to escape. And when the people at the company could not bribe him or convince him to stay quiet about it, they basically clunked him over the head and had him threw him in a room. So, the press is going, this was like some illegal genetic experimentation was going on mutants, which is exactly the sort of thing the militia doesn't cotton to. Nobody knows how they destroyed an entire building. At that time, nobody knows who the person in white is. Other than that one delivery guy and the mutants that they rescued, nobody else seems to have gotten out of the building either. The news report talks about the fact that level of death is is kind of an escalation. Not that the militia hadn't gone into labs and wiped people out before, wiped the scientists out before, but
it's usually you're in the way, so you're going away, not it's going to blow up the whole building.
Or you're specifically the scientist that was vivisecting this guy. No quarter for you.
Fair enough.
But this, it doesn't seem like anybody employed by the place got out. Not the executive, not the scientists, not the janitor crew, nobody. Or as one person put it, that delivery guy is the only human that walked out of that building. That's big news for about a day.
Only a day.
Then a television station gets taken over. Only briefly. No one in the station was actually harmed. Let me throw up a image for you. Or a handout, I should say. So you see this man, or I should say that everybody sees this man. Let's see, Boogeyman. You recognize this guy's face.
Yeah.
He was just in a white business suit the first time you saw him. And he makes a broadcast from this captured television station. He introduces himself, saying that he is an arbiter of the future. He has taken the name Catalyst, for he will bring about change. And then he reads what some people are calling a manifesto. He is referring to it as the Sovereignty Decree.
Oh boy.
It breaks down into 3 parts. The first part is the era of ancestry, era of our ancestry. Hopefully this won't be too long. I try to keep it toned down. You call us mutants as if we were a deviation from the correct path. You're mistaken. We are the destination. You are the scaffolding of history, and your purpose has been served. To ask a god to submit to the laws of termites is not justice, it is an absurdity. We have not broken your laws, we have simply outgrown them. The second statement is the end of stewardship. For too long, the gifted have acted as your outcasts, your test subjects, and your defenders. The era of servitude is over. We no longer seek your recognition, your rights, or your tolerance. We are not your citizens. We are each of us a sovereign biological power, and our borders are defined by our own skin. Then he gets into the mandate of retribution. To the governments that track us, the corporations that seek to patent our blood, and the heroes who shackle us to your dying status quo, consider this your first and final warning. To the state, any attempt to register, detain, or cure our kind will be met with a response that is not political, but elemental. You can strike one of us, we will unmake the foundations of your capital. To the markets, any company profiting from the exploitation or suppression of the genome will see its assets liquidated, not by a court, but by fire and force. To the heroes, we see you, the humans uplifted through accident or experimentation, the mutants trying to convince bigots of your humanity. History does not remember those loyal to the tyrants, but those with the will to cast tyrants down. We are not asking you for a seat at the table. We are informing you that the table is ours if we choose to take it. Stay in your shadows, little ancestors, and perhaps you'll be allowed to witness the dawn of a new age. Then the broadcast ceases. Him and what was known as the Mutant Defense Militia. Though afterwards they have let it be known that they are now the Foundation Against Future Oppression. A very benign sounding name, despite the harsh tone he took with his decree. So that is what is all over the news.
Oh my.
He has basically gone to, most wanted overnight. With his face out, he is quickly identified. See if I can pronounce this because it's a Greek name. Athanasius.
Again with the Greeks.
Yeah, Athanasius Paulus. Greek businessman, investor. You know, like you can find plenty of information on him. Appears to have been born into money. Like I said, did investments, dabbled in business. Did some funded some archaeology, did some amateur archaeology himself. But that seems to be who he is. Though as they investigate him, they find out he is, he's secreted away a bunch of his, most of his assets. Clearly, he'd been prepping for this for a little while. Nobody knows his current whereabouts. But as I said, the attack was down in Chicago, and it was a news station in New York, or a TV station in New York. They took over. Like I said, FBI and Spears most wanted overnight. All kinds of political talking heads. Both of the typical sort and the sort that mostly debate superhuman stuff. Everybody's talking about him. In your meeting the next day, Offerman brings him up. Kind of with the hope that he just stays out of Detroit. Nobody knows how he pulled that trick with the building, or if that's something he can always do, or nobody really seems to know what he does. He's been seen flying. The scene where they rescued those mutants from the NGG building. He was kind of hovering over him the entire time. And of course, you saw the other former Mutant Defense Militia guys there, Grim Noir and all them. So that is where y'all are at currently. Is there anything particular that any of your characters would like to have done in the past 2 days? Or I guess 3 days by this point.
I take it we still have not gotten any word back from our attempt at contacting the biggest magical power around.
Santa Luna?
If he's the biggest around that we try to contact.
No, you have still not heard anything from the Crucible. So you are still just walking around with the headsman's walking stick in your jorts.
Fun.
By the way, are your jorts science-based or magic-based?
They're magic.
Okay. I thought so, but I wasn't sure. And I know your gadgets tend to go both ways.
Yeah.
All right. So like I was saying, is there anything your characters would want to do?
I suppose Boogeyman would have been working on that hollow emitter for M7.
Okay. Something where she can walk around looking a little more normal.
Yeah.
Do we want to have a meeting with Offerman over this? Maybe are you sure you have? Maybe just a check-in to see if Futura is in any way could be viewed as complicit by this catalyst figure.
Um,
Hmm.
like I said, y'all have a
It's
meeting
basically something
where he brings up, so you'd have a chance to ask him.
Yeah, basically, Whippet would want to know. Look, if there's anything we need to know, this is the time to let us in, because we find out that you've you know if you've been running any kind of unethical experimentation or whatever on other human beings of the type that Catalyst had described in his manifesto, you can't keep that from us.
I don't think
We need.
I don't think Catalyst Manifesto includes immoral studies. I think that includes any studies. Just throwing that out there.
Well,
That's a
he
good
did
question.
specify making a profit off of, so like medical services of like saving someone's life. What isn't like covered under that? So like it's doubtful they'd like crush a random hospital unless they were doing experimentation somewhere.
I suspect that the problem would be things where human beings are treated like products or something to be harvested, like a resource to be harvested. I think I figure that's the kind of stuff that would could make Futuro a target of this FAFO organization if we if, and I think that's that would be the main focus for what Whippet's asking about.
I I'm honestly a little surprised that Futuro's um, thoughts are. I hope they don't come to Detroit, because this sounds like something that automatically puts a target on Futuro.
Uh, so as far as the question, Offerman assures you, Futuro is not involved in any illegal genetic experimentation on people. He's been assured this by the higher ups,
Whippet would
but
Whippet would like to
he will
avoid.
ask some questions about
Sorry.
anything they might have done in the past. He'll look into that more thoroughly.
I think Whippet would caution Daniel that we're not talking about legal or illegal. You know, this isn't something. Yeah, this isn't the sort of thing that where basically she's doesn't want to get into like legalese and to like as a way of whitewashing any potential abuses. Because certainly the catalyst will not look at it that way. But I do appreciate that. It's promising that Offerman's willing to cough up to, or at least look into past as well as current activities, because I think that's going to be like super important.
It could be because we know one of the reasons they funded us was to help clear up their image from past mistakes.
Right. Yeah, which makes me, I have to at least wonder, if there's a, yeah, yeah. I guess what I'm trying to say is that if anything that would make Whippet a little more suspicious. And I know she signed on the dotted line just like everyone else, but yeah, I think that's just the kind of thing she'd be mulling over in light of recent events.
But Offerman tells you you're quite right.
And maybe
I'll look for anything that would be considered ethically questionable. Because you're right. I doubt
as a
this man's
group,
going to
like
care about the finer points of the law.
so I think Whippet as a maybe would like to have just a strictly in group discussion and about like what would we do if something came out. And this is probably something we should have talked about like before we signed on the dotted line. But here we are.
So where does
And I
Whip
have to
want?
confess, I'm sorry.
I was just
Jason.
going to ask where Whip wants to have this little meeting.
Well, it's at first I have to admit, as a player, I wondered, well, do I need to worry about including influencer? But I don't think we're at the stage where Whippet would. I mean, we know where we stand as far as like loyalty to the company and all, and the differences that may or may not be there. But I don't think influencers. I don't think we're at the point where influencers done anything like bad.
No, I don't think
Yeah.
influencer has shown Futuro's hand yet.
Yeah, like whatever issues
Yeah,
he
we're
might
doing.
have
What
with
would we want to
influencer,
be?
he's good.
I don't know, does anyone have any thought on that?
Is anybody else seeing the stream freeze up?
Oh, let me tick over.
I did.
Yeah,
I froze it,
I'm
but I thought it was
seeing
just me.
I'm seeing a bit of a stutter.
Okay. Like voices were coming through fine, but the video for Mike and Curtis was getting a little like freezing, and then they'd move, and then freeze, and then they'd move. At least on my end, looking at the
I did freeze up for a
OBS.
bit.
Okay, it seems to be
It
okay.
might have just been a moment of it, yeah.
Okay, are you pulling Majestic 7 and Miss Manhattan into this?
I feel like until they sign on the dotted line, they're not the ones who would. Yeah, I don't know that I would.
Okay.
Now, does anyone think we should loop them in right now?
I say let's keep this official team only.
This
this
meeting,
we are still at the
like
hypothetical stage.
they still need to. I'm going to keep talking like this rather than the Skater Boy voice for a moment. Like them knowing about what's going on, important. Them being in this specific meeting, not particular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially since we're strictly at the theoretical what if stage. We could just end up like alarming them unnecessarily. Ooh. I was just going to ask for the sovereignty decree to be posted.
Way ahead of you.
So, as soon as we get in the private meeting, Skater Boy will address the group. So, like, we're on a timer till that guy shows up here.
Oh, 100%.
Well, I mean, like,
Sure.
through his own definition, like, probably the fact that I'm kind of weird and they're, like, withholding medicine from me for work probably, like, means that he'd be shooting for me eventually. And, like, the Mutant Defense Militia, when they were the Mutant Defense Militia, kind of, like, thinks I'm a mutant.
Why do they think you're a mutant?
Cause I like talk to them telepathically.
And so they just sort of assumed, okay.
Now, I want to say she specifically asked you if you were a mutant.
Yeah, and I was like, nah. But she asked if I was born with my powers, and I said yes. I said like most of my powers I was born with.
So is he a mutant?
Yeah.
It's going to become important at some point.
Yeah.
So if you haven't decided, make a decision.
His origin is gimmick because I'm doing all the gadget stuff out of the pockets, but
Jason's going to make us pick a side.
Well, that or somebody that can detect mutants is going to show up, so you're going to have to kind of know.
Well, I know Skater. I don't know if that's how I refer to you in private conversations, but since I don't remember your real name, or even if Whippet knows it,
Yeah, I'm like
I know
Steven.
you.
Steven Sagittarius.
Oh, right. How could I forget?
It's an
So
alliteration. Makes it easy to
Steven, I
remember.
know you. You've always been very cool about you seem to have come to terms or make peace with your working arrangement, but I don't think that's going to if Catalyst if
I
if the
put
fuck arounders.
I walk and put a hand on Whippet's shoulder. I've like complained about it every single moment I possibly can. It is a gun to like my head.
Well, then, let's chalk that up to player forgetfulness instead of Whippet forgetfulness.
Okay.
Um. So yeah, we're definitely gonna get heat from Catalyst and the fuck arounders. Um.
I was wondering how long it would take somebody to piece that acronym together, but it didn't take any time at all. So
Well,
if you
maybe
say,
you should. Yeah, let's just ask you. You're the one with the most at stake. What do you think? How do you think we should approach this?
I'm like we can probably like invent some kind of dampening field of some sort to like because like we saw him crush a car. So we can assume like he's using some kind of natural force, but like I don't know how strong and like I don't know how much we'd have to like support this building if he came.
Oh, and just whisk the V headquarters. Sure.
It would be better if we understood exactly what happened to the building in Chicago, but we don't. We just know
Would
it's
we
gone.
be able to get out there to investigate the scene?
it's only been a couple of days, so the scene is still kind of covered up.
Surely we could get access between our spear contacts and Futuro pull.
Is that a path? Is that the path
Yeah.
y'all want to go down?
Yeah, but before we go, I'd like to see if I can find where anybody recorded the video of what actually happened to the building. If there's anyone filming and caught the destruction or disappearance.
Yeah, you can find that just on YouTube. Like the people were recording it with their phones.
Yeah, I mean, there's always somebody recording stupid shit with phones and catching important stuff.
So yeah, if y'all do a quick search for that, the probably the best video. It just starts with him already pointing to the top, like people realize something was going on, and this guy pulled his phone out. So the top of the building has already disappeared, and you just see it's like a few floors at a time. Just seem to vanish. As it gets closer, you're hearing like rushes of wind as it's happening.
Hmm.
And when the last
It's
few
chilling.
disappear, the guy's hit by a wind, and he falls back. The phone goes flying. You're hearing people screaming. Some car alarms
Did you
go
fly
off.
back or forward?
Back away from the building. Not like it disappeared and there was a vacuum that pulled stuff in. It's like wind blew out from it. Video goes black when the phone lands face down, but it's still recording sound, and fairly quickly the guy picks it back up and is scrambling.
Well, it sounds like it didn't just teleport. I'm kind of stumped on the wind
there,
blowing out.
Is that like a
I've got no
company
ideas.
computer
What
in the
about you
room?
guys?
Beg pardon?
Is there a company computer in the room?
If y'all are in one of the conference rooms, yes. There'd be like a
I'll just
workstation that plugs into the network.
I'll just open up a Word document real quick and just type in, "Hey Prometheus, if you're looking, can we talk about this guy? He seems bad," and then just kind of move it to the side.
Once upon a time, that would probably have worked. But Futuro has taken their cybersecurity very
Okay.
serious since all that went down. So
I don't think we have a phone number to call him.
no.
I don't think so.
Oh well, it was like worth a shot.
Now, like I said, I'm stumped on the air blowing out. Do you all have any thoughts?
It could have. He may have been doing something to swap buildings molecule with another location. So wind is just whatever was in the space of where he moved the building's materials to, or he could have been just unmaking it a layer at a time. That wind is just the sheer amount of matter being reduced to an atomic.
Matter converted to energy, something like that. How many people were in the building?
That's an interesting question.
That's like, hey, influencer, come here. When you ask questions like that, it can like build up internal guilt. We're not like responsible for not saving them. Just so you're okay with that.
No, I understand. I'm just
Okay. It's just like when a superhero kind of like asks after a tragedy of like how many people died, it sometimes is like an internal thing, and I just needed to like check up on you. Because like sometimes it's like, oh, if I was only there, I could have saved them, and like you like building up guilt for things that like you couldn't have been there for is bad.
yeah, but it also lets us know just exactly how evil these people are. I'm sure they don't consider those people as individuals. They're thinking of them as lesser creatures, but
Well, I can't get Google to give me just a straight average on how many people are in a high-rise office building. Probably 100, 200 at least.
Yeah.
oh, I hadn't even considered that they may not know.
Yeah, I mean, you consider it's like a 30-floor building. There's probably at least 10 people per floor.
Yeah, and it was not a full-fledged like skyscraper, but it was a decently tall building.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it a work day when that happened?
Yes.
Oh, plus they also had like all of the hidden personnel for like the capture and containment stuff. So probably a big number.
Yeah, and so far no bodies have been found. Last the news reported, the authorities were still trying to assemble a list of who all would have been in there. But no official. One of the networks has, is roughly estimating between 250 to 300 people. But that's just them, basing it off a few things, but more or less just guessing. looking at the list of employees, looking at how many of those people have been listed as missing by their families by this point, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Well, shall we check out the site?
Sounds good to me.
All right, you going to just fly out there, or you going to use some contacts to?
I say we use our contacts to try and get it cleared first, just so we're not getting into like a other may I kind of thing with any officials that are already there.
All right, who wants to call up Spear and sweet talk him?
Boogie will do it.
All right. So you call up, you get a receptionist type. He does the typical, Spear, though he breaks down the whole acronym, which I always forget what the acronym actually stands for. Tyler, do you remember?
Super People's Education, Arrest, and Regulation. Yeah. Super People's Education, Arrest, and Regulation. Yeah.
So he rattles that off. Detroit office. How may I help you?
Hi, this is a Boogeyman with the Visionaries over in Detroit. We were hoping to get clearance to come out there to investigate this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Analyze.
Were you calling the Detroit office that y'all dealt with, or y'all directly calling the Chicago office?
The Chicago one.
Okay, my mistake. I mean, you get the same spiel, but he would have said that, Chicago office. All right, carry on. Sorry to interrupt your flow.
Yeah, I suppose I'd be calling the Chicago office to get clearance from them first, and they can pass it along the line.
Okay.
We were hoping to get clearance to investigate the NGG building over in Chicago. Basically just wanted to analyze the scene, see if we can't figure out maybe how the building was removed, and if there was any way to counter it in future, in any possible future encounters. We'll of course share any findings we come up with.
Okay. He sounds kind of cautionary. The site's pretty covered up at the moment, but I will pass your request up the chain.
Would be very much appreciated.
And they'll contact you and let you know.
All right.
So you don't hear anything back for a day. And then the next day, Carol contacts you, saying Agent Allen is on the phone from Spear. And he's one of the agents that you've worked with before.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't the guy involved with the catalyst or the MDM Detroit Defenders fight, but
he is not the beanie hat.
No, he did not wear the beanie hat. I think he was one of the ones that well, shoot, I forget what him and Agent Cryer, I forget what they were there for.
Was it Volkov or?
Yeah, it was the Volkov raid. That's right. That's where the two of them were. But yeah, so it's him calling. When you get on the phone,
Agent Allen,
Boogeyman. Not to speak to you
What's
again.
what's the good word?
So you put your, the Chicago office contacted us, and we explained to them, how well you've worked with us, that you've discovered some things that you weren't supposed to know and have kept it under your hat. He does not specifically mention Zug Island, but not over an unsecured line. So they greenlit your trip over there. I'll need to accompany you.
Understandable.
So at whatever, really call to let you know that and to set up, when you want to go.
I suppose over there tomorrow just so we can have everything we might need to take over there prepped and ready to go.
Okay.
And give everybody on your end time to organize.
Sounds good. And y'all set up whatever time you want to leave the next day. He'll probably bring some equipment, but he's mostly there as chaperone.
Yeah.
All right. So what all do you want to take with you? How are you planning to investigate this?
So I would like to create 2 different devices. One to analyze psionic resonance, just like the leftover lingering energy that remains after psychic powers are used. Because generally mental powers seem to operate like along the same lines. They're able to track stuff like that.
Yeah.
I would also like to see if I couldn't develop any sort of scanner that would show essentially if any sort of dimensional portals were used. Because just the way it vanished, there's a little part of me that says something was lowered down over it to move the building. Like a giant invisible portal.
Catalyst is really David Copperfield. He faked his death. The building is really still there. But no, that makes sense. So you pull on it. So you're basically pulling an all-nighter or a late-nighter at least in the lab.
Mm.
Do you ask for any assistance?
I would pull aside Skater Boy if he is available to help.
Oh, yeah, I can help out.
He used to be
I've
really
just
smart.
got dude used to be really smart. I've just got some stuff of my own I need to make too. So it's I just gotta adapt the glasses to a specific time frame. See if we get a visual from other angles, if anything's different, or see what happened on the first floor.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I will assist.
All right. I guess we'll do this like a gadgeteering roll to see if you can get this stuff prepped in time. All right. So first off, what is Skater Boy making for himself?
Just those glasses with I always forget if it's pre or post. I think it's post cognition.
Yeah, post cognition is looking into the past.
Yeah. Just remaking those post cognition glasses at rank 5.
All right, so the difficulty is 5. Ooh, I rolled a 6 though, so that's an 11.
Oof. Okay.
Would I be able to assist Skater Boy in that too?
Yeah, we'll allow that.
All right.
That'll give you a plus
And
2.
I'll honestly, to max roll those glasses, that ability is just so handy. I'm gonna tank a determination point to auto make
Oh, okay.
at rank 5.
All right, then you got that.
And then I will just assist.
All right, so Boogeyman, what are you making? Well, you already said you rattled off the because it was 2 things. It was the psychic residue detector or whatever, and the
Mhm.
dimensional
And the portal doodly doo. So that would be a. Gonna do it at ranks. So between my specialties and the assistants, that would bump it up to an 11. Be rolling.
And you said rank what? You'd cut out there.
Rank.
Rank 6.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, the number you need to beat is a 10. A 14 is going to do it. That's a major success.
Okay. So the first
Or
one will
massive
be that
success,
psychic
massive success.
psychic residue.
All right. So you've got that detector, and then the dimensional portal one. Also got a 10, so got to beat a 10 again.
That's a 13.
All right. So a massive success in the first one and a major success in the second. All right. So you've got your gadgets equipped out. So as y'all are gathering up to go the next day, Influencer Offerman meets you in the hallway.
Uh-huh.
And, he doesn't stop in the hallway, he just starts walking with you. Because he's gonna go up to the roof and see everybody off.
Sure.
He's just like, I don't know exactly how much access they're gonna give you on the site, but if you get into the basement and any of their computer systems are still working, don't forget the tool we gave you.
I will not forget.
I don't know if Spear would have managed to get into the system yet or not. So, and if we get in there, if we get useful information and then pass it to them, well, that gets us in their good books. Well, even more so than the teams already got us. No, this is criminal investigation. A superhero was doing it. I'm ashamed of you even thinking such a thing of Futuro.
Shaw.
They've been caught doing many things. Corporate espionage, they've never been caught doing. But yeah, and then he just walks you up there, and wishes you all good. He's sure you'll make a good impression. On the Chicago Spear office, just like you have here in Detroit. Sure you'll do the team and the company proud. And then you guys still taking waves as the flyer takes off.
Yeah.
And your pilot, he goes into a full, this is your captain speaking kind of thing as y'all are leaving. This is your captain speaking. And he rattles off how long it'll take y'all to get to Chicago. Basically that he's going to drop you off and then immediately go and, Futuro has secured a spot for him to recharge the flyer.
Mm-hmm.
It'll get y'all to Detroit, or get y'all from Detroit to Chicago, no problem. And would probably get you back on one charge, but yeah, let's not risk it.
Yeah.
So, he's going to drop y'all off at the crime scene, so make sure you take all your baggage with you, when we arrive. Then he'll go be recharging. Obviously, he's on the comms. You can call him if there's an emergency. On the flight over, Agent Allen is talking to you. One, he really likes how much quieter your flyer is than a typical helicopter. You know, you can actually
That's nice.
carry on a normal conversation, you know, a lot easier. But he tells you you're not the only heroes that have come by to take a look at the scene. Somebody apparently let the primes in. He doesn't think that was officially allowed. But nobody really tried to stop him either.
Is like the Primus working alongside them too at this point, or like?
From what he's heard, he hasn't seen any reports of the Primus being active. Like, he was seen by plenty of people. We know he's we know he's alive and he's back, but nobody's really seen him active. And the primes as a team tend to shy away from the government, you know, more than some. But clearly they got contacts if they got access to the site. Toss Up has been seen on site, though he went through official channels. And you guys would know that basically with all the shenanigans going on, Spear doesn't really have an active super team at the moment.
Oh.
You know, Toss Up, Recluse, all the guys that were, you know, on the active team, they're still associated with Spear. They've still got their clearances. But it's like Spear is cleaning house to the point that there's not really a regularly active team. You know, if an alien invasion happened, the call would go out and, you know, all those guys would form up. But and that's actually been, you know, according to him, there's actually been some discourse, you know, behind closed doors in Washington. Is fast tracking a reformation of Spear, you know, of the Spear team. And Allen is like, and while they're at it, they should probably give that team its own name. It always seems so awkward saying the Spear team. You know, when the news goes, Spear did this. Are they talking about the entire organization or just the super team? But that's just a little pet peeve of mine.
You could call them just the tip.
There's an eye roll.
Well, on that, you could like just call them the Spearhead.
He goes, that's a
So
little
that's
bit
like
better.
actually what you call. Well, I mean, spearheading an operation is like a phrase that's used. Like, we don't have to keep our minds in the gutters.
Alan,
but why
nods
not?
his head. He goes, it's not the first time I've heard that joke in the office. But the flight's uneventful. It's a nice clear day. It's you have a nice view of Chicago as you're flying in. And sure enough, you fly up there, and there's just this empty spot that you can tell there should have been a building there. You know, down to the just you know, flat with ground level. They put up a sort of little tent type thing around any of the kind of the stairwells that, you know, would have gone up to the top floor, but now just kind of go up to the surface to keep any rain out.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a few of those dotted around on different sides of where the building was. Most of the block is roped off. They probably opened the streets back up by this point. And you can see a few of the surrounding buildings still have cracked windows where, you know, that burst of air or force or whatever it was, you know, tossed stuff up and, you know, a few windows were damaged, but not. Doesn't look like anything too massive. But there are a fair number of people walking around. You see spear officers, some guys that just look like FBI agents. You know, you'd have to get closer to see their ID, but several several lab coats walking around with various equipment. You can see where equipment has been just set up on random parts of the site. Probably taking readings, this, that, and the other. You are introduced to on site. You're introduced to an agent, Quick. Who's with the Chicago branch. You know, he shakes hands with Agent Allen first. They exchange pleasantries, and then Allen introduces all of you. Quick goes through and shakes your hand. Some spear agents seem to dig working with heroes. Some spear agents don't seem to like it. Quick seems to be pretty okay with you. You know, he laughs and talks about how many, you know, costumed folks they've had come by and want to look around.
Oh, well, this does seem to be the next big global kerfuffle in the brew. So
Yeah.
Catalyst got everybody's attention.
Which I'm sure was the intention, considering he made his big announcement the next day.
Yeah.
Oh, look at me! I've got powers.
So
I'm
if y'all-
special.
what do you say?
He was like he was mocking Castle. Oh, look at me! I've got powers. Look how special I am. I'm a better person. Yeah.
And
Weightlifters doped up on steroids are not better people than, you know, than the scrawny guys they could beat up. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, it's always like weird because he's like, you are beneath us and all this stuff, and like, hey, guy, we have like laws about animal abuse. Even in your like weird worldview, like there would still be protections for us. But he's like, there are none. And so it's like, okay, you're like inherently stating you are worse on the top than we are. It's always like weird to me.
Quick just nods his head. And there's so many things in his little manifesto that's like, we need more details, man. Can you publish a FAQ or something?
it read kind of Kaczynski-ish to me, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I was about to say he didn't go blow stuff up, but I guess he kind of did.
Y'all discovered anything interesting about the site yet that you can discuss, you know, in the open?
Not that he knows of. He gestures some of the equipment. You know, our regular science crew is doing some work. Toss Up, who works with Spear regularly, he has left some equipment here doing like a long-term study. Though I suspect some of it is just here in case the building reappears, so we can take readings as that happens.
Curtis, would Toss Up have published any papers on any sort of scientific or engineering theories he's developed?
Actually, he might. He, believe it or not, takes a very keen interest in multiverse theory. So yeah, he would have found this very interesting, trying to figure out what happened to the building.
Yeah,
and would have published a number of things on the multiverse and his theories about the multiverse.
Boogeyman's gonna nod. So okay. He trusts Toss Up's work not just as a very experienced hero, but also as a Well, we brought a couple of our own little gizmos to
But having
hopefully
said that,
elucidate.
as a scientist and an inventor, he does fly by the seat of his pants and relies on his luck a lot.
That just means he'd only write the papers on stuff that worked.
Yeah, pretty much.
Doesn't mean he's not smart, but he is more adventurous than intellectual.
Hmm.
Nothing wrong with that, especially in this line of work.
He comes
allowed
from
to
more
be
the
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, he comes from kind of the pulp era style scientist.
Exactly.
Experiment on other people? No. But I might shoot myself up with something experimental in an emergency.
Right. Injecting me with this lizard DNA sounds like a great idea.
So it turns out I just reinvented PCP.
Well, if you're the lizard from Marvel, you just needed therapy. Losing a limb is true.
Toss-up just wants to create dinosaur people.
Yep.
Whomst among us? But moving on.
He watched that movie Velocipaster one too many times. And when I could do
Well,
that.
there's that one panel with Spider-Man arguing with Sauron.
That's the one about making dinosaur people.
Yeah, about making dinosaur people.
You could cure cancer, but I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
People.
To be fair, Sauron's
Yeah,
mutation
you
is
cannot argue with
makes
that
him a... Oh wait, no, that's not even accurate because he's a pterodactyl man. Pterodactyls weren't dinosaurs.
No, technically they were not.
Wait, what?
Yeah, pterodactyls are not dinosaurs. They are their own category of animals that were alive.
Yeah, they were just another branch of the reptile family.
Huh, all right.
You know, kind of like the aquatic
in a pop
ones.
cultural sense. Yeah, dinosaur.
Yeah, basically. But so is Dimetrodon, and it's closer related to us than dinosaurs. So.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning a lot. I always like the Metrodons.
They might have even been covered in fur, maybe. All right. Getting off subject, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, y'all were. So, Agent Quick asked you what you'd like to see first. You know, do you need to walk the perimeter or something with, with some of your equipment, or?
Yeah, let's go ahead and walk the perimeter. Get our two scanners fired up, and take some readings.
All right, so walking the perimeter.
I'm kind of curious what the border from where the building disappeared, the hole in the earth, what that looks like.
Well, like I said, it's kind of just flat, even with the ground. There's not really a pit.
Okay.
Any scorch marks?
So is the base of the building there at any basement?
Yeah, the basements are still there. There are no scorch marks. It's like you can see the tile floor of that bottom layer is still there.
Interesting.
But like where you'd have a door that you open up to the stairwells, where all that's gone, it's just a stairwell. Though, like I said, they put up little tent things around there to keep the rain out, and to mark where the stairs are, so nobody just walks over them by accident.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see where they've got temporary lighting up, so at night, so that the site is lit at night to make it make it harder for people to sneak in. There's plenty, even multiple days later, there's plenty of look-a-loos around outside the police tape taking pictures and stuff.
Even in the superhero world, this isn't something you see every day.
No. This is a little different than a couple super strong guys got in a brawl downtown and busted some windows or took out the corner of a building. Now this is kind of big. And as you're doing the perimeter, you can see across the street. There are a couple of spots where people have set up, like kind of little memorial stuff. Like you'll get set up, places where there's a big tragedy.
Mhm.
Probably set up by family members and stuff. So using your gadgets, go ahead and give me an awareness check. Or
Okay.
roll, I guess would be the more proper term. Oh, let's see. It's been a few days. Ooh, but I didn't roll.
Would
Right.
investigation or science or technology factor into this?
I'll let you use technology.
All right. I'll bump that up to not a 70, not a 70.
We only need to beat a 7. Because I rolled a 1.
Boogeyman, our greatest detective.
All right, so you got a 13, needed a 7, massive success.
Yes, sir.
You are picking up some residual psionic energy. It's kind of faint. Of course, like I said, it's been a couple of days. But this was a big event, though.
Yeah.
So, intuitively, it should linger for a little while. But it's fairly faint now, but you are detecting it.
Okay.
You have no way to compare
And
it to the incident with the prison transport, because you didn't detect it there. The thought from the Troy defenders had detected it and alerted you to it. I'm sorry, you were about to say something?
And it is definitely pinging. It is definitely pinging lower to the ground and not higher up, like it's just picking up, as if it was just picking up where he was hovering.
If you step into the area that the building made up at all, yeah, whether you're holding it up high or down low doesn't seem to make any difference. It's just kind of this general area.
Okay.
Where it drops off quick if you start to cross the road or something, though. If you move away from the site, it drops off very quickly. But it seems the entire site is more or less the same.
Almost certainly some sort of bionic power. God, this guy's scaring the shit out of me.
He just wants to protect his people. And be looked at like unto a god.
Who doesn't want that?
Yeah, why people own pets. All right, and go ahead and give me a second one for the dimensional portal aperture detection thing. All right, let's get all those ones out of the way now. So again, you got to beat a 7.
That's a 14.
All right, you rolled twice what you needed. So you're not detecting anything around the building proper? Well, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. There's very slight residue. In one particular spot, kind of inside where the building would have been. It's a very small spot. When Agent Quick sees you poking around there, he asks you what that specific device is for. You're using the other one you're talking about is sonic energy. What is this one?
Detects essentially portal. Someone just bent or tore open a part of the fabric of reality.
So he pulls out a tablet, and you see that he brings up a schematic of the building. And his little program, it checks, it checks his GPS coordinates basically, and overlays that over the blueprints of the building. And you find this spot was basically one of the storage closets.
How are the rescued mutant extracted exactly?
So in the video you saw, they came out from underground. And then kind of once everybody was up, Catalyst was talking to them. And they crossed the street into an alley. And that was like out of view of everybody with the cameras. None of your looky-loos that day were quite brave enough to follow them into the alley.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's now like a good time to have you slap on the glasses.
Might not hurt.
Some quick calibrations to try to get the time right.
Okay.
And I'm a rank 5 on time. I'm not sure. Let me look if that's measured in the. I always forget where the benchmarks are. Benchmarks and basics. Okay, yes, but unfortunately, time is not measured in one of the benchmarks.
Is it not?
It's weight, material, distance, and speed.
Yeah, okay. But you only need to go back a couple of days, so it wouldn't have to be freakishly high or anything. The 4 or 5 or whatever you got it at will be fine. It is. So are you wearing them, or did you give them over to Boogeyman?
It seems traditional to give them to Boogeyman at this point. He is more. I know where my talents lie.
And awareness is not one of them.
And awareness is not one of them.
I keep meaning to make a gadget for you.
I mean, like, I have an awareness of 3, which is like average person, but.
But how aware is the average person really?
Yeah. Skater Boy stats are very much like a debuffed Mr. Terrific. Because they're all slightly above normal, except one.
Boogeyman will pop off his helmet, this little secondary mask underneath, and slip on the glasses.
Some of the looky-loos get excited when you're taking your helmet off, all the cameras come up. But then you've got a mask under the helmet. They're like, ah.
And I got 2 more.
Yeah, there was a Young Justice comic where they were having a camp out. And Robin is, of course, still in costume, because at that point, Tim Drake wasn't revealing his identity to anybody. And they get into a Truth or Dare game, somebody dares him to take his mask off, and he slides the domino mask off and has another one up underneath it. And when everybody was kind of, oh, you were ready for it, he goes, it's a camping trip. This was always a possibility.
You wear 2 masks as you wear 2 masks, and then you wear 2 more.
Think of that Spider-Man panel where Shocker gets his mask off and he's just in full County Fair Spider-Man mask face paint.
Nice. All right, so you slap the glasses
pop on the glasses.
Okay. And it's dialed back. You're seeing the building. Well, you're in where you're standing. You're currently inside the building. Some people pass some people pass you in the hallway, and they're chatting about what to get for lunch. One of the guys, oh yeah, you know, I'll meet you in the lobby. I gotta go downstairs and check on a subject. As they pass, the door to that storage room opens up, and you see Grim Noir, Wrath, and Siphon step out.
Okay, that makes sense.
And you glance in
Wasn't
the
Grim Noir
door.
still
It's
in custody?
no. They got rescued. Remember?
Okay. I was okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Though now that I think about it, I think I only ever really described the one wrecked truck, and Noir was in his own truck. So that's on me. That's on me. But yeah, they were all rescued in that incident. And glancing into the closet, you can see the shadow is deeper and darker in there than it should be.
I'm gonna follow him.
Okay.
I'm just relaying everything I'm seeing. It's
Yeah.
it's Grim Noir.
And
And
all of
his
them
friends.
are in plain clothes.
Yeah.
But Grim and Siphon don't really wear masks, and Wraith is really just more kind of oversized goggles. But they're all dressed, I say plain clothes, they're dressed like in custodial uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you follow them to, basically they're trailing behind one of those people that were discussing lunch, the one that said that he had to pop downstairs. So he badges through a door, they catch the door before it completely closes. Wait, let the guy get a little bit ahead of them, and then they slip in. And it's a stairwell down. As you get close to it, you feel hands kind of not grab you, but take you, on your arm. As you realize you're probably getting close. There is an actual stairwell there, that you're not seeing at the moment.
Yeah. Is it safe to go down?
Yeah, I would say. Let's see. Yeah, Agent Quick tells you, yeah, it's just, I'm not sure what you're seeing through that, so, just watch your step.
I'll take a little pocket flashlight and turn it on for anybody else to follow me down with.
So you're just seeing the past at this point. But, the past stairs and the current stairs line up fine, so you're not having any difficulty. And the agent tells you, oh, there's still power down here. The lights are on down here.
Oh, okay. City power grid.
That's unexpected. I would have thought they'd shut it off.
Well, they're investigating it. He goes, yeah, apparently the basement was rigged. It's still tied into the main power grid, but it was separate from the rest of the building. Like we'd cut power, like say we were raiding the place and had cut power to the building, the basement would have stayed powered. We wouldn't have even realized it. So you follow them down. Once they get down into the basement area, they split up. Wraith continues to follow that one scientist you saw above. But you can follow any of the three you want to.
Oof. All right. I suppose we follow Wraith and the scientist.
Okay. Uh, uh, so he, he goes into one of the rooms. She comes to the door and kind of slips in behind him. You're walking in. Probably feeling this slight urge to hide, but catching yourself because you're not actually there.
Yeah.
But the glasses are good. I mean, it just looks like you're walking around, in the place. But you see a young man strapped to a table.
Love you too, big girl.
He's got kind of cat-like features. He's not completely covered in fur or anything, but his ears are a little different. He's got more of a cat nose mouth kind of setup.
Mm-hmm.
And when his pupils narrow, look over at the doctor, and they narrow like a cat. They kind of slit up like a cat's.
Interesting.
But he's tied down. There's you don't know if they're putting blood in him or taking blood out, but there's tubes plugged into him and running into a machine.
I'm relaying all of that.
And thinking about it, you're pretty sure you saw him in some of the video. Just in and among the mass of mutants that was escorted out later. Because they've got him shirtless here. He is wearing more or less like shorts.
I do apologize. I need to get a quick bio break.
Oh, well, go right ahead. All right, are the rest of y'all just following Boogie? Or would y'all have any other investigation y'all wanted to do?
I am following Boogie.
Okay.
Same.
All right, well, what y'all are seeing, where Agent Quick has basically got Boogie by one arm, though he's not having to steer him away from walls or doors or anything like that, because that's all laid out exactly the same. But there are other agents running around doing stuff down here. So he's occasionally like making Boogie pause or something, so he doesn't run into another person. But all the lights are still lit down here. The air still seems to be circulating. That it's not stuffy down here or anything. And like when he walks into this room, y'all see the table the guy was strapped to, the machine. There's lots of technicians in here looking at the machines, examining stuff. Well, excuse me, that's going on downstairs, not in this specific room. Some of the other rooms you pass that, from Boogie's point of view, the doors were closed. From y'all's, the doors are wide open. So you see all kinds of equipment. There's at least one of them was an operating room. It looked like a pretty fully stocked operating room. Properly cleaned and everything, too. Okay. I was describing to them what they're seeing as they follow you down.
Yeah.
So, you see this guy with the, kind of a cat face. Laying there, kind of mean mugging this doc. He's dude on table does not look happy.
Fair.
And he's got like, breathing, maybe it's even a feeding tube, you're not sure, kind of pressed in on the mouth, over the mouth. There's a tube running up into his short, so you're pretty sure he's on a catheter. You know, it looks for all the world like they've got him on this table. They plan on him being here a while. But he doesn't look emaciated, so you don't know how long he's been here. But and the guy goes over. He's there's a computer attached to some of the equipment. And he's typing. He's looking at reports. Oh, wow. Your body's filtered all the mercury out already.
Jesus.
Those are some amazing kidneys you've got. Well, assuming it's the kidneys. I don't know, could the liver be involved? I didn't see we had any wholly original organs. But that means the organs you've got, some of them have got to be doing some double duty. Oh well. Luckily, it's about lunchtime. And he starts detailing to this guy what he's going to have for lunch. You know, what restaurant he's going to, what he's planning on getting. But don't worry, I haven't forgotten you. It's time for your lunch, too. And you see him feed this goo through the feeding tube.
Ooh.
I say goo. I mean, it looks like the consistency of baby food.
Mm-hmm. In the old RoboCop.
Yeah, kind of. And he's rattling off, all the nutrition and this, that, and the other, you know. And he goes, you know, it probably wouldn't taste very good, but luckily with the feeding tube, you're not going to taste anything anyway. And then literally pats the guy on, but don't worry, it'll keep you perfectly healthy. It's everything you need. You know, we're planning to be working together for a nice long time. And then the cat guy's eyes get a little wide. He looks past the doctor, and that's when Wraith walks up and grabs the doctor by the face. You know, kind of like right around the mouth where he can't scream or anything. And the doc lasts just long enough to reach him and kind of grab her by the arm, like he's going to try to wrest the arm away. And then it's like just all the strength goes out of it, and he just slumps to the ground.
Oh no. She killed the doctor.
Oh, he's still breathing.
Oh.
Remember, her touch drains people's strength. It doesn't actually kill people. They just collapse in exhaustion. Which, I mean, could lead to dangers in and of itself. And then she takes the time to give him a good swift kick. And then she starts talking to the guy on the table, like, we're going to get, don't worry, friend, we're going to get you out of this. She tells him her name's Wraith. It's hard to tell, but, you think you see some recognition in his eyes when she says the name. The MDL, more well known among mutants. And she undoes the feeding tubes and all that. She's a little less sure about some of the other kind of intravenous stuff. And you realize as she kind of rolls him over that there's some of the tubes go up behind his back and they seem to plug into his back some kind of way.
Jesus.
And that's kind of her reaction. Like, what were they doing to you? And with the feeding tube out the guy, very hoarse sounding, but he's like, this machine is like, I don't know, like a reverse dialysis machine. They pull my blood out and examine it, and then they've just been pumping garbage in to see if I can heal it and deal with it. Just pull them out one at a time. I should heal up. And sure enough, she'll pull one out. And, he'll start bleeding, but then the wound seals up and then she'll go to the next one. And, he's hissing in pain. This is clearly hurting, but,
Mhm.
and he's a little wobbly when he gets off the table. Uh, and as I start walking to the door, it's muffled at first, and then it starts getting louder and louder. And it just sounds like a rushing wind. A mighty rushing wind.
I'm gonna rush up to the ground floor.
So you rush out, you pull away from Agent Quick had it, he'd kind of had you by the arm the whole time.
Mhm.
Like I was telling them when you stepped away, he wasn't having to steer you away from walls or doors or anything, but there were other agents running around downstairs doing stuff, so sometimes he'd slow you down or whatever, or steer you around somebody. But you break off it. And you get to the bottom, you get back up to the bottom floor in time to see the roof above it disappear.
So what does it look like from this POV as it vanishes?
Everything on the roof just, it's like there's a shimmer, kind of a multicolored shimmer. Did you see the picture I posted?
Oh, is it in the roll Discord?
It was in the Roll20. I'm about to throw it in the Discord for you. I did it as a handout, but I forgot. I forgot, on the phone. Yeah, I believe that's the correct one. So yeah.
So it's the same aura that's surrounding him?
Yeah, it's that same kind of weird shimmering color that, almost prismatic effect. And it all just sort of lights up, like, the entire roof or ceiling on the floor lights up like that. And it vanishes, and there's this rush of wind. Papers blow everywhere. People get knocked over. People are screaming. There's no rest of the building up above it. There's just Callus floating there, telling people this is retribution. And then you see all the people in your line of sight glow like that and vanish.
Oh, God.
And, he's looking around, and it's like they're vanishing in like a wave as he looks around. Like he's having to pick them out kind of individually. Or at least in groups. And then not the floor you're standing on, but like all the walls of the bottom floor do the same thing. You hear that rush of wind again. And you can see the wind of, as it's blowing across the street and it's knocking people down and all that. This matches up with the outside video you'd seen. And then he lands, walks over, and goes down the stairs that you had just come up. If you don't step out of the way, he literally walks through you. Just where you're standing in the
I feel like he could probably do that if he wanted to. I'm going to follow him back down.
So the rest of the, well, they're not the MDM anymore. The rest of the Foundation, they've been the mutants that can walk, they've been gathering up. You see the delivery guy in and amongst them. As Catalyst is walking by, he stops and looks at the delivery guy. He's not a mutant. Why is he here? And Grim Noir steps forward and basically gives the story that the news had said about this guy. That, he had seen a mutant trying to escape and tried to help him. And, when the company couldn't bully him into being quiet, they locked him down here until they could figure out something to do with him. And Catalyst just nods. Well, yes, he can leave with us then. And you follow him around from room to room, like when he gets to the one where the lion guy was, or the cat guy was. Yeah, he poofs the guy laying in the floor. He does not leave anybody that was involved with this alive. Some of them, like that guy, was already unconscious. One or two are already dead, where somebody else has already taken care of them. Some of them are just beat up. Some of them were just afraid and hiding in corners or whatever. Doesn't matter. They all get poofed. Seems to be instantaneous. Like they glow for a second. It doesn't seem to. You don't see any of them really react like they're in pain for that brief second. They light up. They light up, and you can see fear where they're like, I shouldn't be glowing, and then they're just gone. Catalyst explains who he is. That they're creating a larger organization than just what the Mutant Defense Militia was. Because mutant kind doesn't need just a militia; they need a full-fledged army. And he knows many of them here may not have the skills and talents to be frontline troops in this army. That's perfectly fine. Those of us that can serve will. And those that can't will support however they can. But the important thing at the moment is to get them to safety. And he starts kind of, ushering them all up. He sounds very warm and compassionate when talking to them. They all get up, up to the ground level, and he floats up, and he's kind of on watch, making sure stuff's okay. If you follow them across the street, which Agent Quick will get you safely across the street, since you can't see the oncoming cars.
Yes.
But yeah, once they're in the alleyway out of the direct sunlight, Grim Noir opens up a large shadow portal. And they all march through that. And of course, you can't follow them through the portal because it's not actually there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. No fancy gizmos that you saw, no extra paraphernalia. Apparently, the whole building thing was just Catalyst.
Boogie is going to take off those glasses, fold them up, hand them back to Gator Boy. Put his helmet back on and just very calmly say, "We are probably dealing with the most powerful superhuman to ever live since."
The agents, Agent Quick and Agent Allen, do not look pleased. Are you sure you're not exaggerating? I mean, even Land Shark could drop a building.
With the force of his mind alone, he erased an entire building. I saw it. Erased a building, everyone inside of it with a look.
Okay. Let's get you over here to this trailer. And you see there's a small trailer set up to the side, like they have at construction sites, clearly where they've set up a temporary office. Let's get you in there and get a full report on everything you saw. And Agent Allen had picked up your helmet for where you'd set it down, so he's got that for you. So they sit you down and they're typing up what you're saying, and with your permission they'll take a voice recording as well.
Yeah, I give a full audio report as well.
So Alan's like, the reports we had, from the incident back in Detroit, we were assuming he was just telekinetic. But what was he doing to the building? What's the mechanism there?
This is just speculation on my part. Possibly still telekinetic, but such a fine level he is able to just part molecular to break molecular bond.
Shouldn't that cause some kind of nuclear reaction?
Only if you started splitting atoms, but just
Oh,
pulling things apart, no.
Alan's like, oh, okay, just separating the atoms, not the individual bits of the atom. Okay.
I'm not prepared to say that is something he can't do. That's not something he wanted to do in that instance.
But so yeah, fills out the full report. Skater Boy, they asked permission to let one of their agents take those glasses downstairs and get a good look.
Yeah, just like give me a second, and like I set it down and pull out a set of Allen wrenches and like fine tune it. All right, it's like set back to the. You've got like 15 minutes until it. Well, I turned in 5 minutes until it like picks up where we started.
They thank you, and one of the they give it to one of the agents who runs downstairs. They just want to get a better look at what all experimentation was going on down there at this point. I mean, they could stand outside and try to look to see how Catalyst arrived, but the man can fly, so I mean, he probably just flew in. All right, so Boogie, they grill you for a while. I mean, they're not unpleasant about it or anything, but they keep going over, trying to coax anything extra you might have noticed without kind of realizing you noticed, minor details.
I give a as full and honest report as I possibly can. I'm not holding anything back, down to colors I saw.
All right. So yeah, they note that kind of shimmering prismatic effect around him. Some of the cell phone footage of the incident had kind of picked that up, but nobody got super close to him while that was going on. And what you report of the going-ons downstairs, it matches up with what the delivery guy had reported that he heard and saw. They tell you when Catalyst first looked at him, he about wet himself because there was just this sort of utter disregard for him. Until somebody spoke up that he had stood up for one of the mutants, and he's like, the guy seemed fine with me then. I mean. They did tell me to stay behind when all the rest of them left, which is fine. He's like, that guy just wanted to go home. And of course, many hard questions were being put to NGG. But all the corporate heads, had no idea what the lab here was doing. Clearly, it was just a rogue branch. And then Quick kind of rolls his eyes. It's always a rogue branch when they get caught. I think y'all had one of those over in Detroit too, didn't you? He looks over at Alan. He's like, yeah, that Russian guy. So is there anything else you want to do in Chi-Town? Mike, are you still with us? Oh, I think we may have lost Mike.
Oh.
He's still in the Discord. Did this see?
Maybe having some network issues.
Possible. Or maybe he just had to step away for a minute and turn his camera off. But anyways, anything else y'all want to do while y'all are in chat?
Anything to do unless our gadgeteers can whip something up to trace energy signatures and see what might have happened to the building, where it might have gone.
Now, I just want to say something. Now, Influencer, while y'all were walking through the basement, and there was computer equipment everywhere.
Oh, sorry, I had to step away. Yes, definitely.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, you had to step away for part of that. Would you have tried to step into a side thing and plug in?
Absolutely.
Okay. Because there were plenty of, from your point of view, there were plenty of open doors, where Boogie was looking into the past. All the doors were shut as he was walking by. But the investigators have all those doors open.
Yeah, absolutely.
And nobody was really paying attention to you. Everybody was paying attention to Boogeyman. So you could have stepped in, plugged it in, called it with the group, and then got it back on the way out if you wanted to.
I definitely would have done that.
Okay.
Hate me if you want.
So you managed to leave it plugged in for several minutes. There's no lights on it or outside indicators, when you went back for it. So you don't know how much you got, but, Offerman had just said, leave it in there as long as you can. So yeah, that's about all the Spears got for you. Agent Allen asked you, or excuse me, Agent Quick asked you, if there's any, anything else you need, anything else you wanted to check out while you were here in town.
Genuinely can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I had some pizza and nothing comes to mind for me.
Agent Quick is happy to get y'all some lunch.
Yeah, let's get food.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
I was in a full agreement that Boogie would absolutely be down for some taverns.
Something comes to mind. A callback to one of the early issues of this arc, in that when Nosferatu and Oineros, when those museum break-ins are happening, the other big one happened in Chicago. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yes, Nosferatu had stolen some stuff in Chicago.
Is that a thing we need to think about at all while we're here, or is that case closed?
Well, you had figured out, I think, the stuff she had stolen here, she just sold on the black market or whatever, but it was also located in a building with a tech company.
That's right.
And that seemed to be her MO. She would have some other crime set up to cover up the fact that she was actually breaking into the tech companies. And industrial espionaging them.
That's
Basically, her
probably
flunkies would be
nothing-
handling the I'm stealing tablets or I'm stealing artifacts, while she went off and did the tech theft.
Okay, as long as that's nothing that requires any kind of follow up, I'm cool.
Yeah, I think y'all would pretty much put a nail in that.
Okay.
And she's still in custody, I think. I don't think she got away that second time.
Hmm.
But all right, Alan. Quick. Well, Alan goes with you, but Quick takes y'all out, for some lunch. The least he can do, you give him some valuable information. And y'all eating that gives your pilot time to finish getting your flyer charged back up.
Mm-hmm.
And when y'all get back to the scene where the building was, the flyers parked there up to one side. Did anybody remember to bring Daniel Dobbs some pizza?
Yes.
When we get
I just because we do seem to have been pretty consistently thoughtful about our pilots. Boogeyman's going to say, yeah, he got him a slice.
He's grateful.
Or a full personal pan.
Yeah, personal pan.
He's like, oh, I didn't even have to read any books to get this. I don't know if it's still a thing they do or not, but when I was a kid.
Oh, that would go over Boogie's head. Oh, I'm old. Ah.
There's a buddy of mine at work that's just a year or two younger than me that brings that up regularly. How he remembers reading all those books during the summer for the free pan pizza you get. Like, yeah, I remember that. I didn't do that as often, but I do remember that. But I don't know how long that stuck around after my time.
I don't believe I ever experienced it.
I'm so old it was after my time.
Now I just remember taking my report cards to Chuck E. Cheese for the free tokens.
Oh, y'all
McDonald's.
had a Chuck E. Cheese in your hometown.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to go. Let's
Wasn't
see.
Jack
I think Huntsville was the
Schneider,
closest one.
I can one up you. We had Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz.
Showbiz.
Ooh.
And they both went out of business.
You heard it here, folks. Curtis killed Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz.
Mouse murderer. Keep you away from Disney.
Yeah.
The owner bought that mascot suit that they turned into the animatronic, thinking it was a coyote. And his Marty guy's like, you cannot have a mouse or a rat as your food mascot. Well, I've already bought it. We're doing it. Okay. All right, that was quite the tangent. All right, so y'all load up. Skater Boy, give me a reason roll, I guess.
What stat is that?
Oh, I'm sorry, intellect.
Okay. Would occult fall into it?
No.
Curses. I'll crack a 1 good luck to give a +2.
Okay.
Missed by 1.
Oh, that is so close. All right, so y'all load up and head back to Detroit. Skater Boy, y'all are halfway back to Detroit when you remember you did not get those glasses back.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to like hold them about it.
Don't forget, Agent Allen is in the flyer with you.
Yeah, I like that. I'm like, can they like send me my goggles back when they're done? I really don't want to have to deal with like Steam punctuation being mad at me.
Hey, oh yeah, I can shoot off a message about that.
Thanks.
I'm just gonna be honest with you. They'll probably drag their feet at least a few days about sending them.
Yeah, I can like see that happening.
I'm gonna tell him not to take them apart, but I'm sure they'll want to examine them some. Now, this is an agent of Spear, so in touch with the superhuman community to some degree. Would he know who Steam punctuation was?
There's probably data on him of just like a hero whose inventions all look like they were steampunk, and he's been missing for a while. It's actually high tech. It's just like the cover is steampunk.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So a gadgeteering hero from back in your day, basically.
Yeah, he was someone who just kind of like bought into like the cool gimmick of steampunk early on, and then just really stuck with it.
He was at the forefront of the steampunk movement.
Yeah, he was like in a team called the Victorians for a little while.
He was not one of them guys that gets all into the steam and forgets about the punk.
Yeah.
That's what everybody forgets about the various punk genres. They've got to be fighting against something. Cyberpunk tends to be anti-corporate. Steampunk should be anti-Victorian or anti-classism. I'm not sure what diesel punk is supposed to be fighting against.
Probably anarchists.
I think diesel punk tends to be against like environmental destruction, but I'm not sure.
That would make sort of sense. But all right, so y'all get back to Detroit without any issue. Probably not too reassured with what you've learned, though. So you land. You're getting out of the flyer. Offerman is there to greet you. And just as he's kind of how did the trip go? Off to one side from behind some probably some of the like air unit type stuff that's usually on the top of buildings. The Rook steps out.
Oh, hey.
We need to talk. And Offerman's like, how did you get up here? And she just very casually looks at him and goes, I'm the Rook.
Is it daylight right now?
It is.
Be important.
It's like kind of wild to see you out and about like not at night. This must be like real critical.
She's deeply concerned what's happening in Chicago.
You should be.
So she kind of pulls y'all over to the side. Offerman takes one step to follow, and she just locks eyes with him. And he literally takes a step back.
I'm gonna hang back and slip Offerman the drive.
Like you're consoling. Oh, it's okay. I'm sure it's not that big. And just slide it to him in his hand.
Yeah.
Oh, his eyes kind of brighten up. Oh, yes, it'll be all right. It's probably just superhero need to know business. And he slips into his pocket as he's turning away from you.
And now Futuro is profiting from mutant exploitation.
But they didn't exploit them.
They didn't exploit it. That's right.
They're exploiting the exploiters.
And that makes
truly.
it okay.
What's more American than that?
I never said that Influencer was not morally compromised.
Oh,
but
We never assumed he wasn't.
so anyway, Armin says, we'll do a debriefing, just on the comms, just let me know whenever y'all are ready, and we'll do a debriefing. And he heads back downstairs.
hey Nick.
No, he turns and looks.
Do you have kids?
No, I never really had time for a marriage and a family. Always so busy.
You want full
What
robot?
does the,
Oh, he said, no, I was always so busy, never had time for a family.
Ah. Okay.
was that Offerman answering the question?
Yes, that was Nick Offerman
Yeah.
answering the question.
Yeah, I had blanked for just a
Thought you
second
were
that his name was
asking
Nick, but yeah. I've gotten so used to just calling him Offerman.
Now the first name's
Well,
Daniel, is that right?
Do what now?
Daniel Dobbs is our pilot. Nick Offerman is our.
Isn't Nick Offerman the
No, it's Daniel Offerman too. Did we have two
Oh,
Daniels?
whoops.
We must have wound up with two Daniels.
Oh, Daryl. Daryl's the pilot.
Daryl Dobbs. Yeah.
Daryl Dobbs. Yeah.
Okay.
That was me messing up. I remembered it was 2 Ds. I did the whole crap, what do they call that when you do names like that?
Alliteration.
Yeah, alliteration. I did the whole alliteration to help me remember it, then I messed it up. So yeah, Daniel Offerman.
Nick Offerman is not involved with Futuro.
And Daryl
as far as
Dobbs,
we
yeah.
know.
I'm gonna tell him, in lieu of kids, hang out with your friends tonight. Just trying to have some fun, okay?
He's looking at you like he's almost a little nervous, like he does like some of the tone of your voice is a little off. Okay, he'll try to make some time. He a little time to relax is good for you, I guess. Increases productivity. Then he heads downstairs, and Rook basically pulls y'all over to the area she was, over to the air units where she was hiding. All right, I've checked this place out. There's no listening devices here. And she pulls out a small box. Please put your comm units in here. I'll give them back. Don't worry.
I dropped the comm unit. My comm unit in there.
Does anyone not drop a comm unit in?
Looks like we're all complying.
Influencer, do you comply?
No, I'll comply.
Okay.
I have a feeling I don't have a choice. I'll be excluded if I don't.
All right, so you drop it in and she shuts it.
I will carefully make a mental note of everything she says, though.
Yeah, that is fine. I just want to make sure nobody's listening in on this. You may trust your company, and that's fine. And I realize you may share some of this with them later, but she clicks the box shut and just sets it on the air unit. But that box is a Faraday cage. They won't get anything in or out. she's been in contact with the Primes.
Mhm.
They have a contact in Spearwell, probably several, if I had to guess, given how connected the Primus was. I don't know how familiar you are with the Primes. One of them does transmutation. The one that creatively named herself Transmuter. Or however you're supposed to pronounce it the way she spelled it. Well, Transmuter had certain insights into what happened to that building. She is quite certain that he converted all of that matter into air.
That is about the assessment I had.
Uh,
We used a device to look back in time, and
That
Jesus Christ.
That would explain the burst of wind, because they're just, those atoms are scattering and those people are being breathed in by the audience. Oh my god.
I mean, I guess if it was a teleportation, the air would have swooped inward.
Yeah, it would
to
have run
fill the
inward.
vacuum, but
she's like, yes, there would have been a
outward,
popping. Well,
you know,
probably a thundering on something of that scale. When a person does it, sometimes
That's
there's a
it, yeah.
popping. All depends if the
So the
teleporter's using
transformation-
portals or whether they're just disappearing, or whether they replace themselves with the air where they travel to. There's no definitive rule with superpowers.
Sure.
Wait,
So
not
the
only is it
transmutation-
frightening that they were able to be transmuted, but on that scale, that's kind of horrific.
Yes, this is where the concern comes in. This is this man may be a threat on the same scale that the Primus would be a threat if he had gone rogue during his career. Maybe even more so. Imagine if Landshark were competent and evil. He can't just power wise. He's probably weaker because he couldn't destroy matter, but he could wreck city blocks. He has before on accident. That's why he's still banned from some cities.
You could take out the national
pending
wall
pending the
pretty
court
easily, I
case.
suppose.
To be clear, that includes the people, right?
We haven't found any bodies. We assume that he was transmuting the people as well.
He did. We witnessed it.
Describe to me what you saw, and she gives you a grilling about like the agents did.
Again, complete honesty.
Agent Allen is still on the roof. Him and Daryl Dobbs are both over at the they're at the flyer. You can't hear what they're saying, but you can only imagine their conversation is. I wonder what they're talking about. God, I wish I could be over there listening. Technically, I should probably bring the Rook in for questioning. We've had some agents roughed up. Yeah. Anyway, they're having their little conversation. She's also concerned because when they were the MDM, they've already attacked Detroit. or a place in Detroit. And where Shadow Corps apparently wasn't experimenting with people here, she's quite certain that they do that sort of thing. She's been involved, she's investigated them and even busted some places, but overseas, so we really didn't make a big splash over here.
That makes them a target.
Yes. She's like, I think y'all are doing a lot of good here in the city. And with that, you see your mother struggling as she always struggled when she was trying to compliment somebody. But if you guys against the MDM when they were still the MDM, I would put my money on you in any confrontation with him. You're a good combination of powerful. She gestures at the influence, influencer, skilled. And she kind of gestures to Whip and Boogeyman, and experienced. And she kind of looks over at Skater Boy. Depending on what he's doing, I don't know if you should interfere with Catalyst.
Genuinely, I'm not sure. I'm in full agreement.
And Whippet, she's not meeting your eyes as she says this. Carry on, Boogeyman.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm with that to engage.
I'm gonna be working on something to maybe block psionic abilities. Something to try and give someone a little bit sturdier a better shot of taking him.
She kind of nods her head. That'd be a good idea. I wish somebody could have invented something that would nullify mutant abilities, but that tech is always hit or miss. Mutants are all so different.
Yeah. Nobody's like ever made anything like that.
Officially, as is known in the setting, no one has ever made a general purpose one that worked on all mutants. Now, could some wizard do a spell or something? Who knows? Let's get into the weeds there.
Maybe a scythe could temporarily remove them.
So a fellow she works with, a former sidekick from the 40s. She's like, he's aged a little funny, through the years. So he's still fairly active in the community. He is putting together I didn't nail down the name for this. I think HeroNet's been used by somebody. He's trying to put together an online way for heroes to keep in some contact with each other. To share information. Security would be the primary thing, and it would be in the deep web, but this threat is motivating him to speed up his timeline on that.
Yeah, it's kind of apocalyptic.
Uh,
I hope that y'all will include us in that network if it goes up.
I am pushing for him to include any
We wanna
heroes in
help.
good standing. This would be, and she locks eyes with you, influencer. This would be something for heroes to access, not corporations, and not the government.
Understood.
If the spirit heroes are get involved, they'll be giving the same talk. I'm not singling you out. Though you notice you're the only one she's singling out in this conversation. I'm not singling you out, but I'm only talking to you about this right now. She's not telling Boogeyman you can't let the corporation get involved. She's telling influencer.
And of course, both Futura and the government will be hacked into it, but you know.
Well, they've got, like she said, security will be the primary concern. But don't go in there like, if you keep a secret identity, you glance at the Boogeyman. Don't go in there spouting your real name or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really all she's got for you. Like, most of the time in the conversation was taken up by her grilling Boogeyman when she found out, oh, I've got an eyewitness. Because, she's also
Fair.
one of those detective-leaning types.
I have a question.
Yes.
When the Rook said, and Whippet will make a point to address her as the Rook and not Mom or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
When she said that, depending on what he's doing, she's not sure you should intervene. Is that a concern for maybe he's in the right, or is that a concern maybe we'll get instantly atomized?
Give me an awareness roll.
Okay.
And you're very familiar with your mother, so give yourself a +2 for that.
All right. I will type that in manually.
Let's see. I think I just used the baseline.
D6 +4 plus, and that was +2, right? For the
yes, +2
bonus?
for being familiar with her. Yes.
I generated a 10.
All right.
Oh,
she generated an 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, max roll.
Once again, I am unable to read my mother.
That's where your troubles all begin.
So you're not 100% sure. Like I said, when she said it, she was not making eye contact with Whippet. So you don't know if she thinks this guy might be in the right, if she thinks your team just can't handle it, or if she just thinks it's dangerous enough and I don't want to Whippet in the line of fire of some that kind of cannon. Because you remember, she did chew you out to some degree for her up in the Vasilev's face you got. It's a world-ending cosmic god, and my daughter, who hits things with a whip, was right in his face the entire fight.
It could be a combination of all three.
Yeah, was
it could be
out of my class? Maybe.
It could be.
But he was punching.
She was, and she was effective. Because she kept him tied down. There was a round or two where he didn't do anything but try to get out of that whip.
Most of my heroes went out like bitches.
Because he was nullifying powers. That's why they were coming in waves.
But when you've got nothing to nullify.
So, lots of potential emotions there. Lots of things that she could have meant or that she could be concerned about. And Whippet, you just don't know what the dominant one is.
Sure.
Maybe if Glowstick was here, she could tell you. Who knows?
I'm gonna assume that the Rook is not at all sympathetic to. I could be wrong, but that's the theory that Webhead's gonna internally run with.
That she is not sympathetic to.
Yeah,
Oh.
because if
As you mean, as far as thinking he might be in the right, that she's probably not going that route.
yeah, or maybe she actually, what might be what Webhead might be anticipating is that the Rook might begrudgingly get that Catalyst has a point, but this is a civilizational threat, and you do what you gotta to stay alive. But that's for me and the Rook to worry about.
Yep. All right. So at that point, she bids you adieu. Whippet reminds you that it would be, it's a ways out, but it would be nice, Don't forget, Christmas. You've got an invite to Christmas.
What time of the year is the campaign in currently?
I think I think it's summer now. So, they were giving you plenty of warning, plenty of time to be thinking about it.
Got it.
And then she gives you your comm units back. Walks over and just steps off the edge of the building. And then you see her zip off on her flying space Vespa.
Oh, right, the Vespa.
Either she hasn't gotten the jet rebuilt yet, or she has come to like the Vespa, one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
The jet's so much cooler and better for long trips, but you can park the Vespa anywhere.
Can't feel the wind blow through your hair in a jet.
Well, if you can, there's been an issue.
You can once.
Once.
All right. So you go down. Alan goes in with you. Asks you if there's anything he needs to know. He's not asking you to violate any confidences, because he would not want the Rook on his bad side, or he would not want to be on the Rook's bad side. Excuse me. But is there anything you think he needs to know?
No, nothing beyond this is active chatter in the Cape community.
Oh, it was about Catalyst. Okay, well, that makes certain sense.
Yeah. Kind of a all hands on deck kind of situation.
Yeah, he seems to be fully aware of exactly how powerful Catalyst is.
Yeah, at least all the Capes are taking it serious. And he rides down the elevator with you, and then he's back off to his office. You go in, you have the debrief with Offerman. He just wants to be brought up to speed. About what happened in Chicago, and he asks you if there's anything the Rook said that he needs to know. He's not trying to pry.
Nope.
I would say that she did give us a warning to this may be something we need to stay out of as best as possible.
He sort of nods.
Does the group not want to share what she confirmed about Catalyst powers?
Is that Curtis asking or Influencer asking?
That's Curtis asking.
Okay.
The Influencer will be more subtle.
Yeah, it really wouldn't hurt. I would have given that full report to the company anyway. As many people who know what is going on it's probably for the best.
Yeah, I'd say leave out HeroNet, but definitely the fact that everyone was basically executed at that site.
Okay, and this is a secondary source thing. I think it's transmutation or something similar.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's
But All right, so he nods his head. Okay. He understands why she'd be suggesting caution. He would suggest caution himself. This is a very powerful group. But I think she's underestimating you.
Yeah, she does that.
You know, we have an ace up our sleeve and gestures towards the influencer. Very few people have been able to resist his ability.
Oh, yeah.
It can
Influencer?
it can happen.
It can't happen.
Influencer?
Yes, yeah, he
Yes.
was. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, he was just the influencer. Sorry, I forgot some of y'all are on camera.
What happens to you if the person you're controlling dies?
Oh, you don't really
Ooh.
know.
Have a good day, my love. Someone's off to work.
Ah.
She's filling in for somebody else who's out sick. She usually has game nights off. I'm
That's never happened before.
gonna flatly say I'm going to that may be Plan Q is to find out if we do engage with if we are forced to engage with.
God damn it! It's the land shark in me that wants to say that would be Plan K.
Well, sometimes cues make case
No, because
fake
Plan
sounds.
Q blows.
Offerman, he's not fond of a plan that intentionally puts a team member at that level of risk. But he understands that you're talking absolute worst case scenario here. Yeah, if things get that bad and the city itself is actually at threat, yeah, he leaves it to your discretion to do whatever y'all feel like you need to.
Yeah.
You know, he definitely wants all of you to come back. Any fight y'all go out to, he wants all of you to come back. And captured and arrested villains are better than dead villains. I mean, just, better press that way. And, sanctity of life and all that.
I like the pecking order that he gave out there.
Hey, he is who he is.
I can't say he's not honest about that.
And Whippet, you had asked about morally questionable things. Futuro does not do as much genetic research as some of these people. They have bought some companies that were dirty. I mean, like bad, but then they bought, still applied technologies, after the mind control satellite incident. He has not uncovered anything where they were just blatantly exploiting people. There may be some information in their systems that they got from some of these other companies that they bought and cannibalized from back when they were doing it. He doesn't know how publicly known this is. He doesn't know if Catalyst would hold him responsible for what some other company did that they just, got their assets later. But presumably he'd go after the people actively exploiting mutants at the moment. We should be low in their pecking order anyway.
Well, as long as you realize you're probably on the menu.
Yep. And if they're wanting to recruit Skater Boy, maybe that'll buy us some grace. So the meeting will break up here. you would have probably another day before the alarms go off. I had meant to get to this today, but the investigation and role playing took longer. But yeah, it was fun.
In between that time,
Yes.
does Offerman reveal to me anything that they pulled off of that drive?
He would keep you in the loop on that. Let me write down a note, and we'll kick off next session dealing with that.
Okay.
Don't forget the drive.
I'm assuming he will give me a new one or a freshly clean drive
Oh, he will definitely
in
do
case I
that.
come across.
To influence. All right. But when the alarms go off, a day or two later, let's see, it's Carol's day off. Who was the other guy that sits in y'all's seat? I'm constantly using Carol. Dennis. Oh, never even given Dennis a last name. Dennis comes over, and as you're dressed and run into the briefing room, he already has scenes up on the wall. You see Wraith and Siphon, and they're fighting two of the Detroit defenders. You can't tell exactly what they're outside of, but if this was the last panel of a comic, the last scene of the show, you run into that room and that fight scene is going on the screen behind Dennis.
Okay.
And that is where we'll wrap for the day. I hope y'all had fun. I enjoyed it. Hope anybody that comes by and watches or listens later, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you'll join us again. Should be in 2 weeks. I don't think anything weird's going on. Next week is Easter. Yeah,
That's
so
right.
12 won't be anything. So we will see y'all then. Again, I was your GM for the day, Jason. And with me has been Curtis as the influencer.
Laters.
Mike as Whippet.
Take care, everyone.
Taylor as Skater Boy.
See ya.
And Marigold as the Boogeyman.
Thank y'all for joining us.
And we will see y'all next time.